What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me. Week 3 of college football. We saw some ups, some downs, some lows, and we saw a lot of growth from several different teams as well, man. But what really caught my eye is the quarterback position and how many good quality quarterbacks there are. Now, we knew Caleb Williams and Drake May were two of the Heisman favorites coming back and still are looked at as the top 2 quarterbacks draft-wise in the country. But listen here, man. Shedeur Sanders stapling his name into that race with another big performance in a rivalry game coming from behind in double OT. Then you got Michael Penix, who's playing the best football of anybody in the country right now, leading Washington. And then on the other side, man, I feel bad for Spencer Rattler. Kid is doing everything he can possibly do, and he's running for his life out there. I don't know if he's going to survive the season. That bad man, Sam Hartman. Notre Dame got their first big test this week. But, man, we got to start putting some respect on Sam Hartman's name because we start the Heisman campaign now because the kid is balling. And he's a vet, and he's playing like one. I'm going to let you know. But before we get into all that, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest. And join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming daily, weekly, whenever you need it. Now back to business. Let's get into it.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
So like we said, I'm not going to get too deep into this because we talked about Colorado over the last couple days, but I must say, Shedeur Sanders, the resiliency, the competitiveness, the poise, the leadership, the toughness. I loved what I saw, man. The first half was slow for him against Colorado State. It was chippy. We saw this. Travis Hunter getting knocked out of this game, lacerated liver, and now he's out. I mean, this is just disgusting. I'm not going to lie to y'all, man. I mean, obviously, looking at the play, the ball's in the air, but, it's out of bounds. He's defenseless. He's not even, you know what I'm saying? He's not even going after the ball at that point. The play is over. Okay, the play is over. And he is absolutely leveled. I mean, taken out of this ball game and escorted to the hospital. That's how hard he gets hit. And he gets knocked out of the game by Henry Blackburn. And they got emotional. It got chippy. There were some dirty plays. Shedeur Sanders overcame it all. Got the dub for his program and his pops. Had a big game. Came from behind in double OT. Took him 98 yards. Got a touchdown. Like, we know how it all went down. But we got to say, man, he stapled his name and kept his name in the running to the Heisman ranks. But I'm worried about Shedeur, man. The offensive line, not great. On top of that, he's improvising and holding on to that football like a kid on Christmas trying to play with that new toy, man. He's getting chased around. He's trying to improvise. He's one of the best in the nation at doing that. But the way that he is holding on to the ball, I mean, it's at times it's doing more harm than good, man. He's been sacked double-digit times already. He's been sacked 15 times this season. 15 times. Some of that is the O-line just being bad at their jobs, and on the other end, it's him holding on to that football, man, for dear life, trying to improvise, trying to make something happen, but he's got to start throwing the ball away. Then they lose Travis Hunter. That is a huge loss. I think so more on the defensive side than the offensive side. He's been having a good games as far as catching the ball. He's been effective in the pass game. I get it. But on the defensive side, he's their best corner. He's their lockdown corner. And now they're going to have to go to maybe a less experienced alternative, man. So we'll see. But him missing the Oregon game and the USC game is a travesty, man. And for them to have a chance in this game, Oregon's not like some defensive giant. I mean, they gave up 30-plus points to Texas Tech. So this team can score, but the defense is going to have to step up. Shedeur's going to have to start getting that ball out quicker or throwing it away, man. You cannot be taking 20 sacks within the first 4 games if this trend continues. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be a quarterback battle with Bo Nix. This is their toughest test. This is Oregon's toughest test. 2 high-flying offenses. What defense is going to be able to prevail? And that is where we see the departure of Travis Hunter. Yeah, they got some young talent. They've got other 5 stars. They've got other transfers they can go to, man. But I just don't think that there's anybody on this roster that can contend and bring and impact the game and bring to the game what Travis Hunter brings. It's just, that's a tough situation, man. And with Travis Hunter out, man, with the lacerated liver for 3 to 4 weeks, I think it's going to fall on Kermani McClain, man. The 5 stars coming in. Now, Prime has said in the past he might not be ready just quite yet. Well, he's going to have to learn quick, man. They're going to depend a lot on him. But these reps could prove beneficial. So it'll be interesting to see how they address that. But Shedeur doing his thing, man. Still keeping those Heisman hopes alive. Still keeping them undefeated. And still proving that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. And while we're in the Pac-12, it's been a whole lot of Caleb Williams talk. This quarterback situation in the Pac-12 is insane. I mean, Michael Penix, Cam Ward, Bo Nix, like Caleb Williams, obviously, like they are loaded with quarterbacks, but Michael Penix might be playing the best football of anybody in the country right now. The lucky lefty. I mean, Washington's scoring over 40 points a game right now. And a lot of that is due to Michael Penix, man. Penix, for one, is playing out of his mind, but they just blew the doors off a tough Michigan State squad. Like, out of all the quarterbacks we're going to talk about today, Washington's played the toughest schedule. They've seen the toughest defenses out of this group so far. They're putting up over 40 points a game. Penix is playing out of his mind. They just blew the doors off a scrappy Michigan State team that is dealing with their own turmoil right now with Mel Tucker. But, man, Sparty's no slouch. They were undefeated coming into the game, too. Right now, Penix is leading the nation in yards and touchdowns. He's thrown for 1,332 yards, 12 tutties, and only 1 interception. The key stat, though, I'm looking at, too, is he's only been sacked 1 time. So that Washington O-line's doing their job, and you can also tell that Penix is getting the ball out of there. And then, obviously, you see Shedeur Sanders under there as well, 1,251 yards. 10 tutties, only 1 interception. So neither one of these guys turning the ball over. But that, man, 15 times sacked is insane. That is insane, 15 sacks. But, so you look at it and the Pac-12's loaded. Now, it's going to be a little bit. Washington has a couple games they should win. You know, they got a big showdown with Oregon in October. That'll be their next, like, huge test. But Shedeur obviously got Oregon coming. That'll be their next test. But we got to talk about this man, Sam Hartman, as well, man. I mean, I know he's been playing college football about 4, 5, 6 years, it feels like. You know what I'm saying? 7, 8, 9, 10. But he's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. He has been one of the most efficient and prolific passers in college football over the last several years, and we're putting him on the main stage with Notre Dame. No disrespect to those Demon Deacons, but the most talented roster he's ever been a part of. And who knew he was the missing ingredient? Because Notre Dame is humming. They are blowing through the competition. And I get it. You know, I know y'all. They're beating teams they're supposed to. I get it. They haven't really had any tough tests yet. They're also scoring over 40 points a game. Every contest right now, man. Sam Hartman is absolutely playing out of his mind right now. Looking at the list, he's 5th right now in passing yards with 1,061. He's also thrown 13 touchdowns, right? He's thrown more touchdowns than Penix, Sanders, Swan, Shager. Like, he's thrown the most touchdowns out of anybody on the top 50 list right now in quarterbacks. I believe he's leading the nation in touchdowns, man. 13 touchdowns through 3 games, bro. Like, it is ridiculous. He is doing numbers. He also hasn't thrown an interception yet. And he's been sacked 4 times, so not terrible. But he's also a guy that can impact the game with his legs as well. But Hartman's playing lights out. Notre Dame, they got their first big test against Ohio State. Ohio State has a good offense of their own. and they're bringing in a new quarterback with an experienced wide receiver core. Now, this will be the best offense that Notre Dame's defense has seen, and vice versa. This will be the best offense that Ohio State's defense has seen. Neither one of these teams have been tested this season yet. So this is a mega matchup, and this is a really, really good chance for Sam Hartman to put himself at the top of this Heisman race if he comes out and has one of those Hartman games against Ohio State. A matchup of two top 10 teams. Must-see football. Sam Hartman has got to take over that game and leave his imprints, leave his fingerprints all over that game. He's got to get in there, make good throws, get these guys. I mean, he's already a captain first year, so you're seeing the respect, man. He's got to continue to command this offense, get these guys into their positions, and have them running, man. But he's giving these guys a chance to make plays in the open field. So you got to love it. Big test, big rivalry game against Ohio State. We will find out a lot more about Sam Hartman in this game. But right now, easily one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. Speaking of quarterbacks, this man, Spencer Rattler. We talked about Shedeur Sanders getting sacked, right? This man, Spencer Rattler, has also been sacked 12 times in 3 games, bro. Like, I'm worried if this man's going to make it through the season. And I feel so bad because he's literally doing everything he possibly can for this squad, man. He's putting up numbers, 954 passing yards. You know what I'm saying? 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a lot of dropped passes, though. And the dude is running for his life. He ran the most yards he's ran all season against Georgia. They had the Bulldogs on the ropes at halftime, up 3. And then they completely get shut out. Completely obliterated in the second half, man, just physically, from a physical standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Georgia goes on, turns it on, scores like 21 unanswered, and that's all she wrote. But that defense was chasing Spencer Rattler all over the field, son. Like, he was taking some shots, and he was having to use his legs a lot more, man. Almost ran for 40 yards. But he's in there standing tall, making all the right throws. I absolutely believe Spencer Rattler's a first-round talent. South Carolina, I wish he'd have went somewhere else. No disrespect to South Carolina. I like Longmire. I like the coaching staff they have. I believe in Coach Beamer. But, man, they not going to win in the SEC, bro. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry, Gamecock Nation, but, I mean, seriously, bro. Spencer Rattler is the best quarterback this program has seen in a long time, especially from a pure talent standpoint. And his numbers they're solid, they're good. Like, he's doing his thing, especially in the yards. He's killing, he's throwing for hella yards. They got to punch more opportunities into the end zone, though, man. They got to score more points. They got to stop getting penalized, and they got to start catching the football and blocking for this man Rattler. When he has time and he's got a clean pocket, he's delivering the ball timely and getting these guys out in space so they can make plays. But majority of the time, even with Carolina, we saw it when they played North Carolina in the first game, man. Dude was running for his life. They set a sack record against him. I think he got sacked 7 times. Like, no quarterback is going to be able to get comfortable and operate under those circumstances. I feel terrible for Spencer Rattler, but it seems like people are taking notice that he is putting on some strong performances. Yeah, he had 2 interceptions against Georgia. Were both of them necessarily his fault? I don't think so, but, you know, only time will tell, like, how this thing is going to go. But, Spencer Rattler, bro, I feel bad. I've been a fan of his for a while. You can tell the maturity, the leap that he's taken as a leader in the locker room, and his play on the field. He's looked so much better than last season, man, like by far. He just looks like a totally different player, looks way more comfortable, and he's honed this offense, man, but they got to give him time to operate, and they got to catch passes, and they got to finish games, because this team has the talent to play with anybody, but dang, they got to learn how to win. Next up, South Carolina's got Mississippi State, so they are absolutely going to have to come out and play, man. I mean, we're talking about 2 of the bottom tier SEC schools right now. I mean, you can't even say Vanderbilt's a punching bag anymore. But anyways, so we'll see what they can do if they can win that game. But this has to be a major game. I need 3-4 touchdowns from Spencer Rattler. That's the only thing he's missing, man. Like I said, he hadn't thrown an interception through 2 games, through 2 against Georgia. tough. I mean, we're talking about probably the best defense in the nation. So we'll see. Obviously, Alabama's still working on their quarterback situation. It looks like, from what I've seen, Coach Saban has come out and said Jalen Milroe will be the starting quarterback. Yeah, he had 2 interceptions against Texas, and it didn't look too great. He had two touchdowns, too, which is more than we can say about the 2 understudies that came in and played. And we talked about that in the last video, so I'm not going to dive too much into the Alabama backups. But we've seen, obviously, Jalen Milroe is hands down, by far, without a doubt, the best quarterback on this roster and the only chance they have to get back to the SEC championship game and potentially a college football playoff berth. I don't know, man. I don't know if this messed with his confidence. Nick Saban messing with his confidence, benching him. I don't know how the kid's going to bounce back, but it seems like his spirits were high. He was motivating the team, you know what I'm saying, talking to the players, getting them hyped before the game, and it seemed like he was giving instructions and stayed engaged even though he wasn't the starter. So you like to see that, and we'll see how they bounce back, man. But I tell you, after that game versus South Florida, they barely escaped. Nick Saban was like he wanted to hang it up. Straight up. But a lot of good quarterback play, man. I would like to see Caleb Williams do a little more. Like, he's playing fine. You know what I'm saying? He's top 20 passing, whatever. Drake May 17th right now with the yards, touchdowns. Like, they just haven't been, like, super impressive. We're still waiting for those Heisman games. And Drake May got to cut down on the interceptions. But regardless of the fact, man, it's a lot of quality quarterback play going on in the league right now in the college football. And we'll keep dissecting and talking about it, but these were just some of the guys that I wanted to get off my chest early. I'm excited for Notre Dame, Sam Hartman getting his first true test. I want to see Spencer Rattler win some games, man, with this team. I hope that they can bounce back. They did it last year, so they're a talented group, man. I just want to see them stay healthy. Drake May, like I said, we got to see a little bit more. Penix, hey, sir, keep doing what you're doing out there, because my goodness. Shedeur Sanders, huge matchup with Oregon. Then they take on USC. Excited to see him battle Bo Nix and Caleb Williams, 2 of the top QBs in that conference and in the nation. So we'll find out a lot about these guys in these matchups, especially coming up this week. But y'all make sure to subscribe for all the latest and the greatest, and join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming daily, weekly, whenever you need it. Until next time, hey, we out.